Tonight on CTV, ASCSU votes on the new constitution.
We look into the CSU Safewalk program.
Rams join together to remember fellow members of the CSU community who have passed away.
All that and more from the people you know, starting now on CTV. Hello and welcome to CTV News. I'm Edgar Cedillo.
And I'm Amelia Castaneda. Here's what's happening in the news near you. Congressional candidate Peter Yu spoke Tuesday to CSU students at the college Republican meeting. Yu is currently the only Republican running for the 2nd Congressional District. His speech focused on improving government spending for future generations and promised that if elected, he would vote against every single bill with a spending increase and fight budget increase. He also plans to support a flat tax to help pay off debt. Yu also touched on free speech and how citizens must come together and speak freely regardless of different ideology, party, or race.
Libertarian candidate for the 2nd Congressional District, Roger Barris, also spoke at CSU. This was the first event of his campaign and prioritizes solving the national debt and eventual elimination of Social Security and Medicare. The event was question and answer style, and Barris was quoted saying, "More than anything else, I wanted to get feedback from people and try to understand what issues which are important to them." Barris is hoping these early events will reach out to grassroots organizations and voters before the major party candidates are selected in June.
At ASCSU last night, the proposed constitution was unanimously approved in the first of 2 votes. The main changes are meant to clean up the language and change the impeachment process to give the OEO more jurisdiction. Before that, CSU President Tony Frank spoke to the body about what will be in the proposed budget for the 2018-2019 academic year. In-state undergrads can expect about a 3% raise in tuition, with 2.5% for out-of-state undergrads.
And so the state's calculation was that we should be able to get by with about a 3% resident undergraduate tuition increase, and that's what we have set in this budget as well.
Rams Remember Rams is an annual event that honors Colorado State University community members who have died within the last year. The event was attended by President Tony Frank, among others honoring those who we have lost.
Dan James McGrew, Jennifer Gwen McLean, Savannah Lee McNeely, C. Dean Miller.
The planning has really just been just coming together, talking about keeping it very simple, keeping it short, and doing a really good job of making sure that we invite the in-campus community, and especially those offices, residence halls, student groups, whatever that might be, that have been particularly impacted by a particular death.
This event has become really significant for the CSU community. It's a chance for us to gather every year and publicly grieve, mourn, to remember and to honor those in the community, in the CSU community, that we've lost.
For me, it demonstrates, again, just the power of our community and just coming together. You look around today, everybody is here because they're here because their hearts are either aching or their hearts are supporting.
For more information and a full list of those who have passed, you can visit source.colostate.edu.
In 2017, around 700 Safewalks took place on campus, and this year, that number has increased. Safewalk is a free service that provides an escort to any student, employee, or guest from a campus location to another location on campus or within a 3-block radius.
There's been an increase of almost 100 requests in the academic year. Before we had just a little bit over 500, about 523.
An estimated 600 Safewalk requests have been made so far this academic school year.
Dispatcher will take the information. We ask the person's name requesting, what their location is, where they're going, and a general description of what they look like, so when the people get there to help, they know who to look for.
According to Chief Harris, these emergency blue lights are placed all around campus. You just hit the emergency button and the dispatch center sends you a police officer.
Blue lights are specifically set up for when someone needs police assistance right away.
While Safewalk does not track gender, one student feels one gender uses it more.
I would assume females would use it more.
Why?
Because they're generally going to feel more unsafe.
Chief Harris wants to leave one message for students.
Walking across campus at night. And so I would encourage them to take advantage of this. It is a free service, and we will get you from point A to point B in a safe manner.
Safewalk runs 7 days a week from dusk until dawn. You can dial 970-491-1155 from any location on campus for their services.
A free speech think tank will be put on tomorrow by the CSU Office of Vice President for Diversity and the Colorado Association of Diversity Officers in Higher Education. The event is called Think Tank Free Speech Summit and will begin in the LSC Ballroom at 9 a.m. and will continue until 3 p.m. For more information on this event, visit diversity.colostate.edu. So, Amelia, do you think you'll be able to have time to make it onto the event tomorrow at the LSC?
Well, Edgar, unfortunately, I have class during those times, but I really hope that we'll have a great conversation, and I feel like it's going to be really interesting to have those professionals talking in those sessions.
For sure. It'll be exciting to see what they have to say tomorrow.
Well, Rams, that's all we have for news.
Stay tuned for weather and sports and entertainment right after this.
For that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
Welcome back for Break Rams. I'm Weather and Kicking Cozart. It was chill. It was a windy and dry start across Colorado. Also, it may feel like spring out there, but don't let it fool you. A little bit about that in a little bit. Looking at your current conditions, it's going to be 62 degrees, mostly cloudy, about 20% chance of showers tonight coming in. Looking at your overnight lows, with that cold front moving in, it's going to be 20s and 30s out in Grand Junction as that front moves in. Looking on the I-25 corridor, 30s, 39 in Pueblo. Looking onto the plains, it's going to be 30s and 40 in Lamar. Looking at your tomorrow's forecast, it's going to be 47, windy, 20% chance of showers during the day. Those winds are going to kick up during the daytime, 22 miles an hour. Your gusts will be windy, so hang on to your hat if you're wearing a hat tomorrow. 1 to 3 inches in the mountains. Looking at tomorrow, that front moves in. It's going to be 30s, 50 out in Grand Junction. That front moves in the afternoon. Into Denver, it's going to be about 1 to 3 inches. Up north, there's nothing predicted up there. Pretty much it's going to just be windy, cloudy, cold. In the mountains, about 1 to 3 inches, snow. On the plains, Sterling and Lyman are going to be in a freeze, snow kind of thing. They're going to have 70-mile-an-hour winds out there. With snow, that's going to be whiteout conditions, so it's going to be horrible. So if you're headed up into Sterling at all tomorrow, be prepared for that. Look at your 5-day forecast. Friday is going to be windy, cold. So if you're headed out, make sure you bring something. On Saturday, it's going to be windy, cloudy also. Sunday is going to be nice, perfect for all the CSU events that are happening on campus and up in Greeley. Monday, isolated showers and 59 to start your week. I'm looking at your knuckle challenge. It's going to be 64. That was rescheduled from Saturday to Sunday. The first event starts at 10:30. Running events start at 12 with the women's. Those winds will calm down. Saturday they were worried about the winds being like 50 miles an hour, so that could cause trouble for like those pole vault events and all that happening. And your sunset is at 7:39 p.m. Looking at your Friday, it's going to be windy in the morning. Your sunrise is at 6:59, 41 degrees. Those clouds come in and the wind comes up. It's going to be cloudy, windy, cold. And around 44 degrees, it's going to be cloudy and windy and 44 degrees. I'm here with Jared Stratton, the sports anchor, talking to him about their no-co track and field event happening on Sunday instead of Saturday.
Yes, of course. In this event coming in on Sunday rather than Saturday, of course, I think it'll be a lot more interesting to see, especially because, as everyone knows, Mustafa Hassan has won 2 of those championships, and those championships, not everyone knows, both of them were indoors. So it'll be interesting to see how well he plays outdoors, especially in this easier weather, as you predicted earlier, with Saturday being much heavier winds, with Sunday being easier for the day. I look like he'll actually have a better chance to compete in the Sunday event. So what do you think about that Sunday alumni game, the soccer team?
So the alumni game starts at 12, so it's going to be about 57 degrees. It's going to be perfect weather for when here at CSU Stadium. Around 3 o'clock, it's going to be about 64. It's going to be a high. It's going to be nice to go out and no wind, so it's going to be a lot easier to kick the soccer ball around. Well, that's all I have for you talking about weather. Stay tuned for Jared coming up next with sports.
Are listening to 90.5 KCSU Fort Collins with DJ Meanbeat,
DJ Nightshade, DJ Wildcard. Music to me is one of the best creative outlets that I can think of. An escape from the real world.
Music to me is an expression of love.
Go from like folk to hip hop to like classic rock, 1960s bossa nova. With music, there's like no boundaries.
I work here because I love music, and you do too.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Beat.
Welcome back from the break into the Thursday night sports show. I'm Jared Stratton, here to catch you up on CSU athletics. The CSU Rams football team took to the field yesterday for their 10th practice of the spring. Their first scrimmage of the year was this Sunday, and this was their first practice since then. Newly acquired KJ Carta Samuels wasn't able to take part in the drills for the team, while their remaining quarterbacks continued to struggle.
No, it wasn't a very good day for the quarterbacks today. The wind was a factor today, and we were a little off on a lot of our throws. I just feel like we're hesitating at times, waiting for things to be perfect instead of going to play ball and seeing it, and your feet are telling you to cut it loose, and play football. There were times that we did a good job, but overall we're too inconsistent at that position. Now, are we down some receivers? Yes. Warren Jackson didn't go today, and we're already thin, and are we down at some offensive line and the protection is spotty at times? Yes, but that doesn't matter for a quarterback. You play each snap like it's a new snap. You take what the defense gives you. We're going to blow protection. Guys are going to get beat up front. We're going to have guys covered, and we got to be smart at the quarterback position. Sometimes when you're trying to prove yourself and win a job, you do things outside of what we want you to do at that position, and we got to settle down and play the position for the quarterbacks, and that's going to be, my message.
While the offense was still trying to find their rhythm, the defense began to step up. During the scrimmage on Sunday, the offense was gaining some ground, but cornerback Anthony Hawkins would not let them score, securing 2 interceptions, both of which being in the end zone. Anthony Hawkins led the team in interceptions last season, despite it being his first time ever playing the cornerback position. He is continuing to be the leader on the defensive side, but is still trying to improve at that position.
Just try to get better at my technique. There's always, little things that we can get better at. Each play, being a corner, you can make 10 plays, you can make 100 plays, but it's that one play that you mess up on that can cost you the game. So, I'm working on just, being consistent and carrying that in to the fall season.
The next practice for the Rams will be this Friday, followed by a scrimmage on Sunday. The CSU lacrosse team is currently taking on the undefeated University of Utah, and CSU reporter Sydney Wicker is live at the game.
Thank you, Jared. It is a windy one out here for the Rams, but that is not stopping them from leading. The current score is 3-2, where the Rams are up. We've seen goals by Josh Kelly and Derek DeHolante, who have been huge contributors for the Rams throughout the entire season. Now, Utah is currently undefeated this season, so if the Rams are able to take this victory, it'll be a huge one for them this season. But we have seen them lose quite a few games after taking a big lead in the beginning. Hopefully we'll see the Rams come out with a win for this one, though. That's all I have for you right now, but back to you, Jared.
Thanks, Sydney. It'll be interesting if they can pull that one off. This Saturday, the lacrosse team will be playing against BYU at 1 in the afternoon, where they have beat the Cougars at least once in the past 3 seasons. The CSU soccer team took to the pitch on Sunday to take on the Metro State Roadrunners. The game started off relatively slow until Ali Paletto caught this ricochet shot and then scored, making the score 1-0 at the time. But the Rams simply did not stop there. Over here we have Mackenzie Taylor making a goal from almost beyond the goalie box, making the score 2-0, which gave the Rams a much needed hot start. And later on in the game, Carly Ehart was slipping past 1, 2, and 3 defenders, one of them being the goalie, and making it 3-0 at the time. In the last shot, we have Beth Plenel with a corner shot followed by a header from Kaylee Lordman during the last part of the game. The Rams completely blew out the Roadrunners with the final score being 4-0. The soccer team will be playing CU Boulder this Saturday, followed up by the first ever soccer alumni game. This game will be highlighted by 21 letter winners returning to play in the game, with some even traveling from out of state. This game will be played this Sunday at noon on the CSU soccer fields. The CSU track and field team was honored for the 3rd time this season with Mountain West Player of the Week. This time it was freshman Destiny Rocker. She is the 2nd freshman in CSU history to win this award. She clocked in a time of 13.5 in the 100-meter hurdles, winning the Colorado Invitational event by a wide margin. To put this in perspective, less than 60 people in the world have posted a better time than Destiny Rocker on this hurdle. With this not even being her best time for the 100-meter hurdle event, she is still trying to break her own record to rank higher in the NCAA. She will have a chance to break this record this Sunday during the NOCO event in Greeley. Well, that's all the sports I have for today, but make sure to check collegian.com and CTV Channel 11 on YouTube for the latest in CSU athletics. I'm Jared Stratton, and up next is Ryan Christ with a live entertainment from a performer from the Drag Show.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Listen, I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you judge me for having a problem. No one is going to know that I need help. I need help. I know that no one is going to judge me for having a problem. I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you listen.
What's up, Rams? I'm Ryan Christ, and we're back on another fantastic Thursday talking all things entertainment. Taylor Swift, super pop star who is adored by many fans, has one super fan who may have took it too far. A Connecticut man robbed a bank so he can impress his crush, Taylor Swift. He drove to a Rhode Island house, taking the money that he recently stole and threw it over the gate in an attempt to impress her. Police said it seems he was attempting to propose to her. This man threw roughly $1,600 over the fence once arrested by the police. He faced a $1,000 bond, and now, I don't know why he did this. I mean, usually when a guy has a crush, there's plenty of good moods. Text them weird emojis, ramble about Star Wars, laugh about their jokes, even if they're not funny. Just laugh at everything. Just be safe. Don't rob a bank. All I can say about this is, Taylor, look what you made him do. For all the people out there who like to run no matter what temperature is, like, I swear, I don't understand. You like running, but there's like 5 feet of snow on the ground. What are you doing? Anyways, for those people, the annual Horsetooth Marathon will be this weekend, where over 1,600 people will be racing this year, including the first, second, and third place winner from last year. This race will start at the old home of the Rams at Hughes Stadium and will go to the eastern shore of Horsetooth to finally end at New Belgium Brewing. If for another strange reason you want to be a gym teacher, there are plenty of places to sit and watch people run. The best place is at the top of Monster Mountain. The Ramskeller got an upgrade this past weekend where they will now be brewing their own beers. This new state-of-the-art facility is for the fermentation science major and was made happen by a mix of alumni, engineering students, and the Ramskeller. This brew house was donated to CSU by Molten Coors. Once he donated the main parts of the facility, the engineer students helped the fermentation science program to set up the brew house. Tony Frank at the Laurie Student Center said the craft brewing industry is a big part of Colorado's economy. This facility will be training brewers starting next semester. We all know CSU has a drag show, but did you know it's the largest in Colorado?
I'm excited to see a drag show!
At the LSC Ballroom, the biannual drag show is going on, where professionals, students, and performers from RuPaul's Drag Race came to perform. At the start of the night, the host challenged the audience to see if they could raise more money than last semester. They wanted to hit $1,400 and blew that out of the water with raising over $2,000 for the Pride Resource Center.
I mean, even when talking with friends and stuff at CSU, a lot of people were very unaware that there was one, or they were like, oh man, I've never been able to go to a show. It provides a really safe space on campus to be like, let's do it. And not only are we going to do it, but let's make it big and let's make it grow. So.
For some of the queens at the show, it is more than just a performance.
It's really addicting. I love the high that I get from performing and the energy and seeing the people's faces just light up, especially people that are new, that have never been to a drag show, to give them that energy and give them that power that they feel like, oh my God, this is amazing, like I felt when I first saw my first drag show. So that's my goal every time.
Performance, every song that I do, it has some meaning, some reminiscence of something when I was little. Just having it was the old saying that people will probably forget what you wore, how you look, what you said, but they won't forget how you made them feel. So as long as you have that euphoric moment with them, that's like the best feeling to me, having that energy, that exchange of energies with your audience.
The drag show is every semester, so if you missed this semester, it will be back in the fall. Now I'm joined here with James Fuerte, who was a choreographer for this year's drag show. So thank you for being on the show, James.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So I guess starting off, so you choreographed what we saw in that video. So what went into the production of the choreograph?
Yeah, it's really interesting. When you're setting up the choreography, not only do you have to be thinking about the moves and the formation changes, but you have to take a bit of a director's approach, right? So I have to take into consideration the costumes, the lighting, the stage, and the type of crowd that we are performing for, right? So the drag show typically encourages a lot of that energy, a lot of that freedom, and that creativity on stage, and it heals. So
that's awesome. So tell me a bit about your performance. So this is one of the largest drag shows in Colorado, and what was it like performing for that many people?
Yeah, so it's really great because not only is it in front of a large amount of people, but majority of the people who come to the show, it is their first time coming. And so when you know that about your audience and you're trying to find choreography that's fun and friendly and non-competitive, you have to you have to just keep in mind that a lot of these people, you want to make sure that they're entertained and that they're happy to come back and tell their friends about it. So
that's awesome. And kind of going back into your show, of course, you said that you were in heels for it. So what was it like designing a show with dancing in heels?
Yeah, so it's really interesting. So I'm a dance major here at CSU, and so most of my training is composed of ballet and modern technique. And what's really great about the drag show is I get to perform a different type of choreography and a style, which is what you saw in that short clip, is a bit of hip-hop and jazz fusion mixed together. So it's really great being in heels because it has a really awesome sense of power and performance, and there's a really great sense of happiness that comes along with that. So, yeah.
Awesome. And I guess going more about the drag show, so I don't know if many other college campuses have a drag show like this. What does that kind of mean to have a drag show on campus?
Yeah, so I'm glad that you mentioned that because a lot of the, I think I'm sure CSU is the only campus that does host a drag show. And so what that means for me as a student here is that it really goes to show that my university cares about me as an individual and about the identities that I share. And the fact that this university supports this space for me to have that freedom, it's really powerful. And it has been much easier to find my sense of belonging here for that reason.
Wow, that's really powerful. And I'm glad that CSU does that every year.
Yeah, twice.
I know, right?
Twice every year.
Twice, you're right, every semester.
Yeah.
So kind of talking more about the drag show, you've done this for 2 semesters now, correct?
Yeah, correct.
So have you ever been noticed or recognized in public?
It's funny that you mentioned that. So the CSU, the collegiate here, they do a wonderful job covering the drag show. And I think for that reason, we had a really good opportunity to because of that presence, there were several times in class where students would take pictures of me on Snapchat and asked to take pictures with me with them. So it's been a really awesome opportunity just walking into class and to kind of be familiarized with some of the, or get to introduce to some of the students in the class. Yeah. So,
going off with that, you know, people coming up to you and these opportunities, what would you say to anyone who's kind of who wants to get into drag but maybe doesn't know where the first step would be?
Yeah, so my recommendation, my suggestion would be to just come and check it out for the first time. I would definitely go in with an open mind, an open heart, and be ready to be entertained and to be in a positive space, because that's what it's all about. So.
And kind of last question, are you, of course, are you going to be in it next semester?
Absolutely.
Are you already getting ready? Do you know what you're going to be doing? More heels? Or?
You know, yeah, I was listening to music, and I have a couple of songs picked out, and so anybody who's coming to the show next semester is definitely going to be entertained. That's for sure.
Awesome. Well, I will definitely be looking forward to that, James. Thank you so much for coming on to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Well, Rams, that's all the time I have for tonight. Make sure to stay tuned for Monday Night Sports Show, and have a great weekend, Rams.